What's up? What's up? Dream Live Shine is in the building, y'all. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming and spending time with me tonight. I need all the love you can muster. Give it to me. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. Hi, Synthetic. Hi, Scratch and D-Man. I know it's your first time. I'm glad you're catching me live. Yes, I'm excited, you guys, to chit chat with y'all tonight. I ain't been able to do a live like this in so long where I just talked and kicked it. I was trying to be on camera, y'all, but after my shower, I just didn't make it in time. So I was like, I'm gonna stick to my commitment. So maybe y'all can get some FaceTime tomorrow or something. But tonight, let's just have fun and laugh and talk about some stuff. Because there's a lot to talk about. I don't know what it is about this month. It's been filled with so many divorces. I mean, you had Tia Mowry and the Corey Hardrick. You had Cynthia Bailey and what was the guy? Mike Hill. And then, I mean, ironically, because those are actual celebrities, and then you have the LaTruths. I mean, and for those of you that don't know, they're like they're YouTubers, and on Facebook is where I would see them. But they were a married couple, and they announced their divorce this year, and it was this month, and so much drama ensuing there. It was like, this is crazy. But I swore that this was like fall, and I thought that's when I thought this was cuffing season and you get somebody to cuddle up with. I wasn't expecting all these breakups to be occurring and things of that nature. Hey, Tia. Hey, Rob. Yes. Hey, everybody. I'm also gonna drop the link. Anybody come up. We're gonna just chit chat about all the stuff that's going on. So but yeah, so I just thought that it was crazy that I'm like, why is every other day it seemed like a divorce or some divorce drama? I thought that was more spring behavior. I don't know. Maybe it's just me thinking that, but it was surprising. Now, yeah, so let's start with let's start with relationship drama, because that's not the only thing. It's like all these breakups, but then you've had all of these men like telling, like kissing and telling and try to ridicule women. And by that, I mean, sweetie. Like, I think I think it's crazy that, first of all, I think that it's crazy that she was in a relationship with the uncle in Migos, Quavo, and that this is even a discussion that she slept with his nephew, allegedly. Oh, yeah, let me get that allegedly banner up here real fast, because I see my mouth ain't going to have no control tonight, so we're going to do the best I can. Yes, everybody, please hit the like button. I know I ain't been on here for a while. I definitely just make the magic happen tonight. I appreciate y'all. And so it's like, that's even a crazy conversation to even be having, like, when you really, really think about it. But it didn't stop there, because then it was like they're all throwing subliminal, putting her in songs. The Migos put her in a song. Lil Baby put her in a song, and now it's being alleged that Offset is gonna dress her on his new album. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And like, why is everybody okay with that? Like, listen, Sweetie is a good one. And she ain't went off yet, and she's then tried to really keep it cute. So we're gonna see how long that lasts, because just person to person, that's a bit much. I don't know that, like, it's like, yeah, like, and why are y'all doing this? But it's not just her. And then the baby did the same thing to Megan Thee Stallion and came out on his new album saying that he had been hitting her. And no less, all the while the whole Tory Lanez situation was going on, right? Because we absolutely can't skate past that. And I was like, dang, like, why are all these men, like, I thought that was female behavior, you know? Like, you get into, you know, the guy you got affection for, whatever, and it don't work out, man, but you don't want nobody else to mess with them. So, you know, you talk about y'all being together and try to put, you know, you try to tinkle on them, you know, mark your territory, dog style. But it's like, I thought that was like a female thing. So I've really been blown away by all the men that have been coming out. Like, that seems real feminine to me. Like, what are y'all doing? And then more importantly, why? Like, I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me. But on another note, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I can't leave out. I put Ashanti on the thumbnail, right? Can't leave out Irv Gotti. Because I think before even the rest of the stuff happened, I think that was my original source of, like, man, this is some real BAN type behavior, right? And Ashanti never confirmed it. So that's why it was like, I don't know, because, you know, you can think that. I mean, I know as a female, I've been friends with males and people have thought that there was something more going on, and there just simply was not anything more going on. But in their case is a you know, a lot different, because it was like the world speculating. Like, we had always been speculating about that. And so it was interesting to see how she played it and reacted at first when Irv Gotti first came out on his little tangent about claiming that he was so heartbroken. All the while, this man was whole married, like with children and things of that nature. So it was, like I said from the beginning, it was always inappropriate for him to even be saying that. Thank you, D-Man. It was inappropriate for him to be saying that to begin with, in my opinion. Even though it was like mad old or whatever, it was like, yeah, you just don't do that. It's just some things that you just don't do, and I felt like that was one of them. But again, in the spirit of Swati, Ashanti was handling it so beautifully, because she literally didn't give us anything. And so I think that's why everybody was so excited about the interview that happened with her and Angie Martinez on Angie Martinez in Real Life podcast. And so let's start there. Okay, because we were all waiting for Ashanti to speak, and I was totally here for it. But then I got there, right? And I love Ashanti, so it is what it is. But yeah, this interview with her and Angie Martinez, I kind of was wishing she had went on Carisha Please, because I think Carisha would have really got the information that we really wanted to know. You know what I mean? Because if for those of you that didn't see the interview, it was still entertaining, let me say that, but it was slow paced. So that's why I didn't feel like it gave what I wanted it to give, because I felt like a lot of Ashanti's answers were very kind of long and drawn out, and it was like, nah, girl, She's asking you the question, and we want to know that specific answer. Now, if you want to give us more, like with the stories and all that, that's cool, because I love listening to Ashanti talk. She's a great person to interview. I always love her interviews. Always a good time. But in this case, girl, you know what we wanted. You know what we wanted. You know why we were tuning in. You know why we were waiting for this interview. Because we wanted to know if Irv hit that. And that's the best way that I can say it. Don't expect no more coof than that. Because that's what we all wanted to know. And we wanted to know, was it as real as he was like making it out? Because I swear to goodness, that was one of the things that had really ticked me off about Irv Gotti. Because again, that's a personality that I love. Like, he's a great interviewer. Like, he's just an entertaining person. I like watching Irv Gotti. I can't take anything away from that. Like, I like listening to him talk and stuff. But when he pulled this whole thing with Ashanti out the back, I was so disappointed. Like, I was so disappointed at him. Like, I knew him personally and was like, yo, like, why would you do that? Like, why would you go out and do that? Why are you bringing up old shit? You know what I'm saying? And he was just making it out like he was so in love with Ashanti, and then he finds out that her and Nelly is dating because he's at home watching a basketball game, and it's all this hoopla about who comes in, and it's Nelly and Ashanti, and that's how he finds out, and he's heartbroken. Boy, you was not heartbroken. You was whole married. I swear to goodness. Wasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, wasn't Irv Gotti in Superhead's book? Wasn't he in Superhead's book? I believe he was. Like, let's give it up. But he came out trying to act like he was so heartbroken by this situation at that time, claiming that she had wrote the song, him and her had wrote the song Happy Together, and it was about them and all of this stuff. And let me tell you something. To be fair, if this was coming from like a 18-year-old male and not a 50-year-old man, I would be completely like understanding of it, right? But he did way too much, and it was very, very disappointing. Now, to get to this interview with Angie Martinez and Ashanti today, I was waiting for Ashanti to say that Irv hit that, and she did. She did admit that they had relations, but it was never that deep for her. It was like this was something that happened. Maybe it wasn't that good to her, whatever. Because as a woman, let me just say this. We know when we know when we see a man, like, oh yeah, he can definitely have it all. And sometimes you like, oh yeah, it's never gonna happen, and you immediately friend zone them, right? But then say you do, and then it's like, oh yeah, so I'm not counting that. And that's what I feel like Irv was to Ashanti, because I listened to what she said to Angie Martinez, and what my girl said was basically like, yeah, that happened, but it wasn't like what he was making it out to be. Basically, it was like, it happened, I wasn't feeling it like that, and I just wanted to be professional after that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a big deal on her part, which says a lot for her maturity level, because remember how young she was. So yeah, it wasn't hitting on nothing. And again, I believe Irv Gotti was one of the people in Superhead's book. And I swear she said that he was not packing. I could be wrong on that. But it's in my mind, so I think it's right. But yeah, so she basically admitted that they had, in fact, she did hit that, but that she wasn't feeling them like that. And so she was more like, after it happened, it was like she wasn't in her feelings about it. So she was just thinking like, yeah, well, this happened, but we still got to work together. And I'm still able to be professional, even though I don't want to be with him or for this to continue on. you know, I could still be professional. But unfortunately, according to Ashanti, Irv Gotti was not going to allow that to happen. Like, he was not down to allow her, he was not down to allow her to move forward. This picture is from the interview. Actually, this is perfect because this was kind of the look, the feel you got when she was talking about it. But yeah, but she says, you know, Irv wasn't down for that he was in his feelings, and then he began to blackball her, and that it actually started right within their own company. First, I thought so, Sent, and that he had a little man, that he was a little man. I thought I remember that. Yeah, but she said Irv Gotti then went ahead and blackballed her completely. Okay, y'all, and was telling people that, you know, they couldn't mess with her. They couldn't go to her birthday party. They couldn't work with her musically or anything like that, that they needed to pick a side. And I know how that feels to be in a pick a side situation. But man, on that level, when it's really messing with your money like that, like, man, that had to be a lot for her to deal with. And she did express that, saying, you know, like, I was taking care of a lot of people at that time. So it wasn't just me that was going to be affected by this, you know. So I totally felt her. But thank God for God just being God and, you know, still moving her on and still creating opportunities for her. Because that did have to be horrible at that time. And that's another reason why, like, Irv really shouldn't have brought any of this back up to the forefront. This does nothing for your image. Like, matter of fact, all of the other F stuff that you did and we overlooked and loved you in spite of, it's like, yeah, this was like mad shady on multiple levels. And that's why I was really happy, you know, when she got her master's back and stuff like that, because that just wasn't cool. Even with her last album, The Declaration that she had did, or that album, the Declaration album, you know, Irv was still able to get like executive producing credits or something to that nature. And still, either way, he was able to be compensated off of the work of it. And she said he never did anything. You know, so it's things like that. But on the plus side, a lot of artists are wising up to understand the value in really being your own brand and knowing the business side of the music industry, you know, and the movie industry and writing. Because I used to tell a lot of people that, you know, write books, that authors and things, it was like, yeah, well, you know, the publishing game and the music game is kind of like the same thing, like, because it's easy. And as a creative person, I know this, like, for fact, you create, you just want to create, you don't want to care about the legalities of anything, you don't want to care about the business side, you just want to create. And in a perfect world, you could have good people that would handle the business side for you, right? And would do right by you, so that you did have the freedom to just create. But it's not the case. It's not the case. And we've seen it over and over and over again. Now, one of the things that okay, so now that we got all that out the way, the major thing from this Ashanti interview on Angie Martinez was when she said that she believed that Irv Gotti wished death on her. I thought that was deep. And also, another major point that stood out to me about their situation was when she said that Irv Gotti told her that he, quote, made her fuckable, end quote. And that was the only reason why other people wanted her. As if Ashanti wasn't fine all on her own. Like, that in itself was disrespectful. Boy, you ain't have nothing to do with this. I was fine before I met you. But, no, but the whole, and she went into this thing about how, and then she tried to backtrack on that when she said she believes Irv Gotti wished death on her. And then she kind of was like, well, the person I was involved with and stuff like that. And I was like, that man must have really been so deep. Okay? He must have been so deep in his feelings. I mean, because I've been mad at people, but no, I don't have any exes that it was like, I wish them, I didn't wish them no harm. It was just more like, I wish you get away from me. But to each their own. Now, oh my gosh. So yes, definitely love to Ashanti on the rest of her journey. I'm glad she spoke, and she seemed to be very comfortable with Angie. So that was a plus side of the interview. But yeah, it wasn't as straight to the point as I would have liked. And but it was still enjoyable. It was good for what it was. I'll say that. It was good for what it was. Now, oh my gosh. Right? Oh my gosh. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Now, first of all, this has been the longest situation ever. Literally, this has been the longest situation ever. Megan and Tory, and the crazy thing is you can't even say that these people were dating. This has been one of the most bizarre stories ever. This was after the WAP. This was around the WAP time. And there was this party at Kylie Jenner's house, I guess, and Tory Lanez, I guess, was pushing all up on Kylie and maybe getting too close, too friendly, whatever. Megan got a little jealous, whatever. Unbeknownst to us at the time, he's actually allegedly dating her best friend. But then there's this altercation where Megan says that Tory popped powder in the foot. And it was this whole big thing, allegedly. And we've all been wanting this to just be over, I think, at this point. We just want to know, did he really do it? What happened? Because there's been so much speculation, because a lot of people have started drawing away from Megan while seemingly to embrace Tory. So that had people kind of speculating, us people, us. Had us speculating, thinking well, was she lying? Because why would everybody be embracing her? I mean, be embracing Tory Lanez if he actually did this to her. That part sent, the baby didn't make this any better. And then he brings that out this year. That the baby then comes out saying that he was actually smashing Megan during this whole time. So he couldn't, it's just all bad. It was a bad look for Megan, and definitely a bad look for Tory Lanez. And then it didn't help that he ends up assaulting August Alsina. And I want to say that was last month in September. And of course he came out publicly denying it, but I mean, I think we all seen the video and that sort of thing. But then, yeah, what added, it was like pouring vinegar in an open wound when the baby came out with his new song, and he's saying that he hit Megan in it. the day before this happened or something, and it was just like, what is going on here? And I thought I brought him up earlier as one of the men that are out here talking about, like, who does this? Like, who raised these men now? I don't know. Beyond me. But all of this looks bad, and I think we all want it to be over. But we're not quite there yet. We haven't even went to trial yet, which won't happen until next month in November on I think it's going to start on the 25th. Somewhere around there in November. But the major news today is that Tory is being placed on house arrest until the trial actually starts. And they are saying that it is as a result of the August Alsina situation. And his lawyer actually tried to go ahead and get him out of it by saying that no charges had been filed, by them. But the judge did not go for it and said, yeah, you're going to be on house arrest until the trial begins. So, yeah, house arrest just sucks for anybody. But, I mean, Tory Lanez in a way different tax bracket from me. I'm sure he'll be fine. I sit in the house all the time, and I love it. So, I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah. And see, we didn't know then, though, right? Nobody knew that then. We were just thinking like she's just mad because he's bringing Tory Lanez out, and him and Megan had a bunch of hits together. We didn't know it was all this going on, and I'll be honest, I wasn't ready for that. I liked not thinking of Megan and the baby as it being anything more than just, good chemistry and making good music. But that little fantasy's ruined. But yeah. And at the end of the day, I think it's safe to say we all just really want to be able to, we want this to be like an open trial where we're able to be in the courtroom. We just want to be able to see people's facial expressions when they're telling their sides. We want them to go on the stand. We want to hear the truth come out in this situation, like once and for all. I definitely do. I mean, because they threw it in my face for all these years. I mean, what else can I do besides to want to know how it ends? It's like reading a book. But they didn't put the end of the book in the actual book. It's like you had to get to this point and then you got to wait for the ending. Nah, I'm ready for this to be wrapped up. I done waited too long. I'm over it. Yes, like I'm completely over it. I can't wait for this to start just so that it can be over, because I just need to know how this ends, because I'm just one of those people. You know what? I'm one of those people. I'll be reading about all of the old Black superstars. Like I'll be reading into their life stories and everything, all the musicians, because I just love it. And I think that we didn't, because a lot of stuff was just like so unknown back then, and you don't find out till years later. So I always love reading the stories, and it's like, oh, I can find out the whole thing in the juicy parts. Because then you have, especially, that's the beauty of like getting old, because the older people get, the less they be caring about what they say. They be telling it all. By the time, that's when the stories are really juicy, that when people get older, because then they're really remembering everything and they telling you all the little details about how it was back then. And it's like, oh my gosh. So yeah. So from that aspect, yeah, I want to know how this ends so it can like wrap it up. But moving right along, gotta talk about Kanye, because I did a live last night, but it was so garbled, I just couldn't leave that up. Okay, I just couldn't do that. So, Kanye has literally been doing the most. He's literally been doing the most. So it started with the White Lives Matter shirt, and that him and Candace Owens actually wore to Fashion Week in Paris. I think it was a Balenciaga show, and they had a whole thing. I don't think the children were wearing the White Lives Matter shirts. I think it was just or maybe some other adults, but either way, it happened. And a lot of people were in an uproar about the whole White Lives Matter shirt. Didn't bother me personally. I've stated before. I mean, I don't know why I'm supposed to get mad at a true statement. Like, that's beyond me. Look, yeah, I didn't have any anger to distribute to that. Like, that's a true statement. Like, actually, that would be crazy to be like, you can't wear a shirt saying, or you can't say, that's crazy. No, because, all of our lives matter. And I get why there needed to be a Black Lives movement situation. I get that, because we're blatantly being slaughtered. And it was being publicized on a daily basis. And not to mention just the reality, right, that we have to live in. So from that aspect, I definitely understood that, right? Because it was like, well, these people seem not to understand that Black Lives Matter, and that we're constantly being treated as if they don't. So I understood it, But that being said, I understood when Kanye wore the White Lives Matter shirt. This is a man that has children that are half white. Let's start there, right? Let's start there. So yeah, that wasn't a big deal for me, but it was. And after that, because of the backlash that he was receiving, I'm not even gonna say because of the backlash, but he was receiving backlash for it. And in typical Kanye fashion, he's not gonna back down, right? No. I mean, this is a guy whose first song was Through the Wire. I mean, his mouth was wired shut, and he literally recorded a song. Still, like, I mean, I think that we know if it's one thing about Kanye, he's going to keep going. Okay, you're not gonna stop him, and I relate to that. I relate to that spiritually. But he starts making tweets, and the one that caused all the uproar was when he said that he was going to wake up in the morning and go DEFCON 3 on the Jewish community. And nobody was here for it, is what he found out. Like, literally, everybody was seemingly against him. I mean, not that that's any different. I mean, some people agree with Kanye and some people don't. And I think that's just what it comes down to. But when he made that comment, this is a fact. This is a fact. That's a fact. And all of the other celebrities, soon as he did that, like, a lot of times, a lot of things people skate over, but when he made that comment, they was like, hey, listen, do you, because but you're not gonna mess up my money. But so Adidas did not originally pull out with Kanye. And actually, before he made that statement, he said that he could talk about the Jewish community and that Adidas wouldn't drop them. So when you come onto the heels of today, it's like, or yesterday, it's like, yeah, okay. But at that time, what they did do was state that they were going to be placing the relationship with him in review. They were going to be placing that relationship with Yeezy in review when he first and this was after he had wore the White Lives Matter, because that was the first controversy, and so he was under review then. And I'm gonna just say my piece on this because it's what I believe. When Adidas first stated that they were gonna place they sure did. Chase Bank pulled out. JP Morgan Chase. Yep, but they sure did. And when Adidas, when I first heard them say that they were placing the relationship under review, but I also heard what Kanye said, and I'm thinking like, that under review, they got their people working to figure out how they can take his company. And I'm gonna be honest, from the beginning, when Kim and Kanye, the whole divorce thing started happening, I knew that they were coming. I knew that they were coming for that billionaire status to knock him out of there, or that she was gonna be trying to get his money. I knew it was gonna be something with him and a loss of money from that. I was not expecting it to be him self-sabotaging himself, if you want to call it that, because some people don't even think that this is what it seems. A lot of people think that, this may have been part of Kanye's plan because he wanted out of those contracts, which could possibly be true. Because if you remember, when Forbes was first announcing that Kanye was a billionaire, Kanye got upset then because he was saying that they were reporting that he was a billionaire and $1 billion, and he was saying like, no, I literally am a billionaire. I'm worth $3.3 billion or whatever, right? And so he's always kind of felt some way with Forbes in their reporting tactics. Now, yesterday, Adidas came out and they actually said that they are terminating their partnership with Yeezy. Now, when they did that, Forbes immediately came out and stated that Ye was no longer a billionaire because the dissolution of that relationship with Adidas would put him down to being only worth $400 million, which I'm gonna be honest, I get that Forbes reported it, but for some reason I still don't believe that. But it could be accurate, but I kind of just didn't believe it. Now, Adidas coming and fully terminating their partnership yesterday with Kanye I wasn't surprised by that so much, but I was surprised in the fact that it still kind of looked like they actually, by being able to keep his designs, right? I felt like that was a way of stealing his company. But no less, they did what they did, as did Gap. Now, Gap had already terminated. Hey, Cent.
Hey, love. How you doing?
Wonderful. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. So I'm just talking about right now. Gap also terminated their partnership with Yeezy in September. Now, ironically, with Gap though, they had kept the Gap and Yeezy website up, and they were just doing it was like a huge sale. But yesterday, they actually ended up removing the website all the way. Once Adidas announced that Gap completely took it all the way out too. Even though they had originally announced separating or terminating the partnership in September. Now, the biggest one, even though the contract with Adidas, everybody was like, that was the big, but the situation with Balenciaga was huge for Kanye, like fashion wise. And they ended up terminating their relationship with Ye, and that happened on the 21st of this month. And this comes after he had walked, because I believe that it was there. Was it their fashion show that he walked in with the white
Yeah,
lives.
I think it was. I think it was the fashion show, and that's messed up. Like the thing was, and I agree with him when he was like, they got too much power, and that's the thing. They have too much power, and that needs to change. You know what I'm saying? And I applaud. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm with him.
And the thing is, a lot of people are. I think it just because when you're really looking at the bigger picture of what is actually happening here, because I mean, we all know that freedom is not free.
That's
and
right.
When because everybody wants to take out the things, and I'm not saying that I agree with the things that the things that people may view like as wrong of him saying. Okay, it's not that I agree with that, but it's just that I'm also able to look around it. I'm able to listen around it, right? So when he's saying things like that, maybe people are like, okay, well, that was disrespectful. He shouldn't have said that. But what else was he saying? And what it really comes down to, what Kanye is saying is that these people, that there needs to be a transfer of power to the actual creators,
which is us. So that's what they don't want. They didn't want really that to come out. We are really the Jews. Okay, so what he's trying to say is we're the ones that with the power. Okay, it's us that should have that power, like you said. You know what I'm saying? So they basically taking over that. They do not want us to know that. You know what I'm saying? That's why they always have a problem with when people start talking about the Jews and get to speaking the truth on it, just the way they did Nick Cannon.
Yep. And the problem is that a lot of people, while there are many of us that have studied it and have looked into it, so you know more than the average person,
right?
But that sounds foreign to them when
like
it's disrespectful, right. But it's because they have not read.
Exactly.
And ironically, for Kanye, he says he's never read a book. So we have to take that into account, that this has to be deeper, because then he's gotten all this knowledge. Where does it come from? Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read books, and a lot of them, and I went to lectures, and I never just take information at face value. If somebody says, "Oh, did you know such and such?" I'd be like, "Did I know that?" And if I didn't, oh no, I didn't.
I'm gonna go and check it out.
Let me go look. Let me go do my own research on it. What you're not about to catch me doing is just randomly regurgitating something that I heard somebody else say because it sounded good. No, because then when you get around somebody that actually know, you're gonna be looking quite foolish.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, man, I just regurgitated this. I ain't even know. And they'd be like, oh, so I always like to do my own research. I suggest everyone do their own research.
Yeah.
But we see how when it happened with Nick Cannon, when with the situation, he came and backtracked. Next thing you know, he was doing the round the world tour of being sorry, and I don't think we're going to see that happen with Kanye. On some level, I feel like he planned this. I feel like he wanted out of those contracts.
Yeah, I can see that. See that.
Kanye is prone to having.
He's smart. He's very smart.
He's a genius, and he's
and because he can't just get out of, like you said, he can't just bail out of the contracts and then they all come for him suing him. So hey, okay, well let me do it this way and that way. I ain't got to pay nothing, because if y'all canceling me, then hey, I can just hey, it's on y'all then at that point.
And but something that Kanye said a long time ago that I do believe is true, and he said he's not cancelable, and I don't believe that he is.
He's not.
I don't. I think even with this, because you have to. Here's the thing: when somebody has nothing and they build something from nothing, you could take that something that they built and it means nothing because they already then built it. They know how to build it again.
That part.
I know firsthand. I'm doing it with my channel right now. But it's okay, because it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? And then the wonderful thing is, once you have to, when you're rebuilding, it's a lot easier because you already know, right? And then you already know the mistakes not to make, because you had some failures the first time when you built, right? Right? So you got to learn. So now when you have to rebuild it, it's like, oh, I got this. So I think that, and another thing, because like I said, I be listening to what he's saying around all the other stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people.
And the fact that he said he wants his own city with his own ecosystem, that's what they're actually been afraid of. Because I've always been saying, why is that not been? We've been in a time where there are more Black millionaires and billionaires than ever in this country, right? And I always used to wonder, I was like, well, why aren't there schools, or like, why don't they come and buy whole apartment complex or housing, places to build houses and build our own communities, and things like that. And so from that aspect, it's like, yeah, why haven't y'all? Why is Kanye the first one to we're here and say this publicly and out loud? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not the only one with money. I think the only other person who else built the school, LeBron James, which was again awesome. But yeah, like that's it. Oh, Puffy also got a school, or two of them or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, from that asset, but you look at that and you can only name 3 people out of, you know what I mean? There's a lot of Black millionaires, and forget the ones that we know, y'all. There are a lot of Black people that are wealthy in this country. There has always been. Okay. Yeah. So like let's be clear. Like when you think about it, I think his mission is a lot bigger than just saying things for shock value. I think he has a plan. I think he's not scared of losing anything, because I think he knows he'll get it back and more. I think that he's not scared of this happening, because he's like, this is gonna make me be able to come back bigger and better and totally free. And just like today, they were reporting that he went to Skechers, right?
Yeah.
And that they turned him down. And I was reading, I was laughing because it said, well, he didn't know that the owners of Skechers were Jewish, and that the son was running the company, basically that they were Jewish people, and like, why would you go there of all places? But I don't think that was accidental either. I think he wants them to be like, to reject him and say, you don't have a place here. And I get it, like on a whole nother level. So I feel like he wanted them to reject him and say, no, we're not messing with you. We're not messing with you. We're not messing with you. So he can say, I need you to. Good. Thank you for not messing with me. Because now I can create my own everything. And y'all can't have none of my money.
Right. And this is what I'm saying. I think that the next thing they're gonna keep on and keep on and keep on, and he gonna start telling the truth, just like Nick Cannon did. The only thing that was disappointing me with Nick Cannon is when he came back and apologized. Like, no, stand on your shit. Stand on what you said. What you said was true. Why would you take it back?
And I think that was so disappointing about Nick.
It was
I
very
knew he
disappointing.
I knew he was going to send, because
I did too.
Said it, I think all of us that know what was up, we were so happy. We were like, yes, and we got your back. Like,
yes.
Go. We got your back. And as soon as some people start messing with his money,
and I'll be there. As soon as they start fucking with his money.
Nick said, listen, y'all, you know what? I ain't even
mean that shit.
But I ain't the one. I ain't the one. You know what I'm saying? Nick said he out here, he got babies to make. He said, I'm gonna need my bag. And one thing for real about Nick, because we know this from him even as a teenager, Nick has always been, he came in the game serious about his money.
Right, he's a childhood, like he got that old money.
He came in as a child,
yes,
in the game, and consistently has been.
Yes, he ain't missed a beat.
Ain't missed a beat. He didn't catch multiple bags, so I know I was so proud. Initially, I was so proud. I was like, yes.
I know, right?
And then I was like, well, then, as soon as I got done with that slash yes. I was like, yeah, he gonna think about this tomorrow. I don't know what he did today, but I was like, whatever that high is that he on, when he come off of it tomorrow, he gonna backtrack on this. I didn't want him to, but I was feeling.
I didn't want him to either. Oh, I didn't want him to.
But when he did, I was like, I understand. I knew, because I knew it was gonna happen. It's like it was one of those things that it was like, yeah, Nick is really about his bags, and they starting to they taking him, and he's not gonna be able to deal with that. So, but the thing is, I'm glad to see this happening, because I hopefully what it does is have the proper impact on the up and coming artists, and that they really start getting into a mindset of really building their own brands, and not just being a creator, but being a total boss by being able to manage your business as a business, and learning the value of keeping your name and your content and your product to you, and that ownership to you. Because once you give that to someone else, you know, it's not the same. It's like basically you giving them half or all your money.
Yeah.
You know, and that's so, you know, hopefully this causes a lot of people to open their mind. Now, one of the things back in September, when Young Thug had actually offered Kanye his 100 acres that he has in Georgia, saying that he could build on it.
Right.
Is what TMZ had reported. And you know, you heard Kanye did publicly acknowledge it, right? And saying that they needed to get him out and that kind of stuff. But he was kind of quiet about it. So then when you kind of think that happened, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at what has transpired. Was this all just a ploy for him to go ahead and just get out? You know, is this what's really happening? Are we watching Get Out?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Because I was thinking, like, you know, because I know, like, some people, like, they don't get it, but I'm thinking, like, on a genius level, it's like, listen, you're not going to let me out this contract. But if I go ahead and act the ass to where they don't
y'all going to let me out without me giving y'all my money.
Yeah. And I think that this little ploy of him going to, like, Skechers and all this, I think that's just for entertainment value, because I think we're going to see him build and produce all of his own stuff.
I think so too.
And I think it's going to change the way that we do business.
And I'm all for it. I'm here for it.
Because right now, see, this is the problem with our community right now, is that everything is out into another community for us to be able to do something, right? You have to go to the other communities. Whereas, like, let's talk about the Jewish community. They keep their money in their community. It's
same way the same as the Asians. You're not gonna walk into a nail shop and find an African American working in a nail shop.
No, and you can't tell me one thing that
not in their establishment. It's gonna have to be their own entrepreneurship, their own African American business, but none of their Asian establishments. Absolutely.
And can you name anything that Asians buy from us?
Nothing. They don't buy nothing from us. Now, when I say nothing, nothing. People don't understand that. They buy nothing from us. Absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
And we'll tell you, they're not going to buy nothing from us.
Nope. Matter of fact, can you name any other ethnicity that purchases from our community?
No.
And that right there is the problem, folks. So I think that the people that are really paying attention to what's happening can see the bigger picture. What he's really trying to get people to is to the place where we're getting it into our community and keeping it in our community and it's circulating in our community six times or so before it ever leaves out of our community. And eventually we should get to the point where it don't have to leave our community.
Facts.
So I think this is going to be one of the most interesting stories. Kanye's always been ahead of his time. Like, even if people don't get that, but really you could go back and listen to his first album. Like, if you really want to break it down, you could go back and listen to things that he was saying there. And that's why, because I was like, man, Kanye's not the same. But I happened to go back and listen, and I was like, actually, he is. He is just in an evolved state. And where you were hearing this person dream that didn't have that money, now you're seeing this person with that money, and they're still not afraid to say whatever he want to say. I think that people are saying that this stuff is new, and I was like, actually, if you listen to him, that none of this stuff that he's saying is new. These aren't new feelings.
Right. He's been saying this for years, a long time. People just haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think. Like, that's why when it comes to like listening to artists, you know, for me, it's never just like a beat, probably because I don't have any rhythm, but who cares? But I'm more of a lyric person.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm when I'm listening to music, I'm listening to what they're saying. And that's either going to turn me on or it's going to turn me off, you know? So, yeah, I think that like I think this is going to be one of the greatest stories that we watch, whether it ends in hellfire flames or if it's just a bunch of hearts and glitter and unicorns and love and shit. But I think this is gonna be like, I think he's doing exactly what he intended to do. There's never been another rapper that you've seen any of this occur with on this level, you know. So yeah, I think this is gonna be one for the. I think this is definitely gonna be one for the history books. I think he's intentionally making his real history. That is his story.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's. I mean, what more people? As much as people say, "Oh, I'm sick of Kanye," no, you're not, because we're all still watching.
Right. Okay. Okay.
We're all still watching, and we want to know.
We want to know what he got to say. We want to hear more, because we already know it's going to be something on a deep level. You know, just got to pay attention to what he's saying. He going to always give you a message.
Oh, and then what about Noriega come backtracking after the Drink Champs interview? Because did you get to watch it? A lot of people didn't get to see the full thing before they pulled it down. Did you get to see it?
I didn't.
And it's so crazy because during the interview, you know, Nori's energy, and he's so excited, and it's all good, and you felt this way the whole time. And then once you air it, you want to come backtrack? No. If you really felt that way, let's be clear, just like we're here on my platform. And if I were interviewing you and you said something that I was like, oh no, oh hell no, right? We stopping right there.
Yeah, we're gonna stop right there.
We're not about to continue.
We're not gonna continue. Right.
Yeah, no, this is. Hey, I'm not sure what just happened here, but yeah, we're gonna have to cut that. I'm gonna tell you right then. Hey, we're gonna stop. Hey, I'm gonna have to cut that out.
We're gonna cut this live right now, short.
Yeah, or we cutting that part out or whatever. Yeah. Because he had time to edit.
Yeah, he could have edited it out as well.
Edit that out. But you aired it raw because you were okay with it. And then you come back and backtrack on it for what?
Yeah.
Like, stand on. Here's my thing. Just stand on what you say.
That's what I'm saying about the same thing about Nick Cannon. This is what I'm saying. They saying this shit, but then they'll come back and backtrack. Like, I don't know. But like you said, it's all about them when they start digging in their pockets, you know. Then they want to come back. I don't think that Ye is going to come back and apologize, though. I think he is going to stand firm on what he says, because, he meant what he said. So,
I mean, and you can't. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back and backtracking on it. If he does, that'll be interesting.
That'll be very interesting.
I won't believe the sincerity of it.
I won't neither.
I won't believe the sincerity of it at all. I would just think like, okay, this is just another a power move.
Right, another PR stunt or something,
Yep. And speaking of PR stunts, last night I did a video about Charleston White.
Okay.
And Rainwater
Mm-hmm.
So
I've been seeing some little bits and pieces of stuff.
Well,
I watched his
well,
live yesterday morning. He was up in his drawers, slanging this thing around, girl, in his drawers. It was so girl, it was funny. I ain't even gonna lie. Charleston White had me laughing so hard. He was like, "Yeah, and y'all up here watching me in my draw, in my dangalang, and y'all watching me and shit too. Y'all watching."
Yeah, he be doing the most. I couldn't go with all that. Like I couldn't watch his entire because he you gotta be definitely a fan of him to sit there sometime while he doing nothing or whatever. But I was definitely trying to catch the most important parts because the whole thing had threw me off because it just came out of nowhere. Because first of all, I'm not even subscribed to Charleston White's YouTube page.
I
But
am.
he went live the other day.
I was on the live. I heard everything he said.
Yes. So okay, so good. Okay, so before I even go further, so what did you think about the live when you heard it? Charleston's live.
When he said what he said about rainwater now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had a question. Then he called Rain. Did you catch the part when he called Rain on the live and talked to Rain?
No.
Okay, so he called Rain, and he couldn't. He was trying to get a question in, but Rain would never answer the question. He said, "Rain, when Mo3 called you, and asked you where was the gun at Mo." He said, "Rain, where was the gun at?" He said, when Mo3 walked around to the other side, and he said that gun was not there. He said he called you and asked you where the gun at, Rain, where the gun at, Rain. He just kept on antagonizing the shit, right? I'm talking about he to the point where Rain had hung the phone up and Charleston White just kept on. He kept calling Rainwater back. He kept calling Rainwater back and shit, back to back, back to back. Rainwater sent his ass a voicemail. And then after about the 10th time Rainwater finally picked the phone back up again. And he just kept on asking him the same question. Rain, what did you tell Mo3 when he said asked you where the gun at? You don't somebody knew where that gun was. Where the gun at, Rain? What was the gun at, Rain? What did you tell? I'm talking about he just kept on. Rainwater kept hanging the phone up. And
then he gave out Rainwater's phone number.
He did, and he said he was going to come back and give out his address.
Yes, because that was one of the points that I made. That he said, "Hold on, which clip was that on?" Oh yeah, right here. He said he claims that them Oak Cliff ninjas would love to have his address. Yeah, it was a lot to unpack.
It was a lot, you know what I'm saying? I feel like
he definitely got very disrespectful.
Yeah.
And the biggest claim and thing was when he kept saying that Rainwater is the reason that Mo3 was unalive, and that he was the only one who knew what type of car Mo3 was in.
Yeah, it was more of the stash. So he kept Charleston White kept saying Rainwater the only somebody knew how to get the to Mo3 stash where he had the liquor at. It was supposed to be in, and he said that Rainwater removed it out of there, and that's why it wasn't there when he was trying to. That's why he keeps saying that it was his fault. And he kept saying that, trying to say that, and Rainwater kept hanging up the phone, but he kept antagonizing, like I said, because he kept on calling him back. He kept calling back. But shit, Rainwater, he answered. He'll answer, then he might not answer. He just that's how he was handling the situation or whatever, you couldn't hear him answer. He couldn't answer the question because he was busy talking, saying some other stuff, but you couldn't hear what Rainwater was saying because Charleston White was busy asking him that question. It was overpowering what he was saying.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think I was blown away by the things that he was saying, and I couldn't tell if this was just a play being ran which is what I stated in my video yesterday. And the reason why is because it was like, well, first of all, y'all supposed to be cool, and then
who's supposed to be cool?
Well, Rainwater and Charleston.
No, they ain't never really. I mean,
well, from what Charleston stated. Hold on. Yep. Okay, here we go. Right there. From what Charleston stated, that him and Rainwater had went to a strip club one night, and then the next day that they went to church together, and that it was at that point that Rainwater had broke down to him, expressing that he had removed the strap from Mo3's vehicle.
Yep, he said that. He did say that.
He did not like him going over there. And that was to the female's house that he stayed the night before his demise, and also believed it was too risky. Charleston White had claimed that nobody knew what car Mo3 was driving besides Rainwater, and for some reason he said Errol Smith Jr.
Because he made the accusation that Errol Smith's mama and Rainwater mama are best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he said that Rainwater was on the phone with Errol Spence when Mo3 was on the freeway. That's what he was saying in the live. Mm-hmm. Do you think that he's saying that Rainwater confessed all that to him? Is that what he's saying?
He did say that. Like what I just wrote, that's like matter of fact, all of these slides. See, this is exactly what he was saying during that live.
Because I know he said a lot. I'm telling you, he said a lot.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to find the one, because he definitely said that Rainwater and Errol Smith's mom
were best
friends.
Yeah, that's what he said. He told him, tell him. He said, Rain, tell him. He said, that's why you was on the phone with him, because y'all mamas is best friends. And he said,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he said that Mo3 is the one who was chasing Errol Spence Jr. during his car crash. He claimed that Errol Spence Jr. and was with Trap Boy Freddy and Yellow Beezy, and that Trap Boy Freddy had ended up hitting Errol's baby mama. So Errol and Yellow Beezy ended up staying cool, and that's why you would see him at his boxing matches with him, as opposed to Trap Boy Freddy as before. He did claim that Rainwater was in the middle of everything, and that he was in the way of rappers because he wants to be them. Now, I found that interesting, especially considering that I guess at some point Rainwater was a rapper allegedly. How true do you think some of the things that Charleston was saying?
I can't say, because I know some of these characters on a personal level, and I have family that actually have a family member who's with Trap Boy Freddy mama over the weekend. Their birthdays is the same. Coming up, her birthday just passed, so I can't speak on that. I ain't even.
One of the other things, and see, here's the thing with the whole Charleston and Rainwater thing. From what Charleston was saying originally was that he was upset seemingly because that he was saying that Rainwater was trying to block him out of his Murder Change Me project, which was with the mothers of the deceased rappers that he had did back in July. And that's what I originally thought, he was upset about. That and the fact that there was, I guess, he was supposed to donate some money to some children at a school, and he didn't show up to do that. That's what I originally thought it was. So that's why I was caught off guard when he started verbally attacking Mo3. And I was like, I was confused by that. And that's what kind of threw me off with the whole thing and started making me speculate as to, like, is this real, or is this like, a publicity stunt? Well, we don't have to I don't have to speculate about it anymore because Charleston White came out and said it was a play. And while I won't be playing the video, I definitely did do my diligence. Because it only took a couple seconds for him to say what he said. I didn't watch the whole thing. I got what I needed and I got on. Now, this is according to Charleston White. Charleston White stated that the Mo 3 album is coming out, and that Benjamin Rainwater called him a few days ago where he told him, quote, "I see why Mo 3 deceased," end quote, and says they have not spoken since. That's what he claimed in this video at the time. He then went on to state that Rainwater is trying to do a publicity stunt. He claims which the they that he's talking about is his publicist and Rainwater, wanted him to stay off the internet for 30 days due to wanting to come with the Murder Change Me event. Now, he also claimed that he effed with Mo 3, so he will help promote the album. But he is also going to tell the truth on Rainwater, who he says is a bitch ass nigga. He is helping. He said he is helping Mo 3 Mama and exposing this BAN at the same time. Says that Rainwater has burned all his bridges and can't get billboards or radio without paying someone. Now that threw me off because I thought everybody had to pay for that. But then he proceeded to tell Dun Dun to fire Rainwater as he is telling all his business.
Because he brought up the fact about that leg monitor over there, telling that boy business about that leg monitor.
Yep.
He was wrong for that.
He did say that on a prior live, but on this one, he didn't go into detail about it. He just stated that he thought that Rainwater had been telling all his business and he should fire him. He then stated that he also never pow-powed himself and that he found out what type of ninja Rainwater was when he went on Real Life Street Stars talking about him. Charleston White stated that he allowed Rainwater to think that because it was the trap he laid to show Rainwater's disloyalty. So that's it, folks. I mean, I said I was gonna follow it up and I was gonna do a whole video, but look at that. It was like 2 minutes. Maybe I'll clip this, right? And do it like that. But it wasn't even worth it because I was like, before I could even get going today, I seen that and I was like, okay, well, there it is. I mean, he's saying that it was the ultimate play, that this was a publicity stunt. So I don't know whether that's true or not either. I mean, you're still gonna have to watch and see how this unfolds. What I do know is that definitely, based on the fact that Mo 3's death anniversary is going to be coming up here on 11/11, I think, and they did reveal that a Mo 3 album is coming out. So, I mean, I think we're gonna have to see how this turns out. But yeah, I still don't know if it's real. I mean, I still don't know if it's real or fake. How do I know that wasn't part of the publicity stunt of him saying that when he revealed all that? Did you get to see that video?
Which one?
That said the things that I just said today. He was in a yellow shirt.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I watched it.
Yeah,
that's why I just came back.
That was after the one. That's why he came back and said that it was a play.
I just can't say too much because I just can't.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna be because if nothing else, this was definitely it was definitely entertaining because it came out.
It was because I'm telling you, because he's just Charleston White just a character in itself.
Yeah, he definitely is, and it was a lot to deal with, and yeah. So, but that's all that I have on that, folks. But we'll keep it. I'll keep you posted with of course, shorter videos of that. Because like I said, this would have been only like a 2-minute situation. So I didn't even do. I was like, I'm just throw it in here at the end.
Absolutely. But I just wanted to come up here and put my input on it. And before I go, I did wanted to bring up with Ashanti and them. I remember you was talking about with Irv Gotti. Yeah, he was in Superhead book. She had him and Ja Rule in them. They all was in that book. She did a lot of exposure. It was a lot going on back in them days.
Yeah, and I remember him being a short man, is what she
Yeah,
was saying in the Superhead book. Yeah.
She sure did. And if I recall her also in the book, see, because I always was under the impression that Ashanti was messing with Ja Rule too. Okay. See, I felt like they was trying to throw it off to make it look like that she was messing with Irv Gotti, because I always thought that it was Ja Rule because he was married, but Irv Gotti was married too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And that was one of my biggest problems with Irv even bringing this up now, even though
this is allegedly.
That him and Deb are still married. I believe that they are fully divorced now. But the fact that it was like, man, you disrespected that woman back then, and then to throw that and like, this is the woman you have children with, and it was like, that's bogus to even bring this back.
That's what I was just gonna say. Why bring it up?
And then you know what? And to add insult to injury, though, you know, with Ashanti coming out today and saying, hey, like, you know what? Yeah, that it happened, but it's not like what he said. You know, basically, like, she just basically was the ninja in the situation, and she just femaled his ass. I don't think that makes it even worse. Like, he shouldn't have said anything.
Well, I don't even think it's so much with that with her. She was just a damn thirsty ass, trying to fuck everything to get her way to the top back then too, just like a lot of them was doing back then. So she was on that train too. So she can't do no whole lot of talking.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I mean,
she fucked a lot of them in the industry.
Everybody's what you do with your stuff is your business. But I don't think it's nobody else's business to be telling what you doing with your
That's true.
with your stuff. And I think, especially as a man that was married, and let's be clear, because Ashanti is my age, and Irv Gotti is at least 9 to 11 years older than us. So, I mean, it was even as an adult, it's like everything about that was inappropriate anyways.
Right.
But for you to just be willy-nilly bringing that up, like, and I get it that the documentary was coming out, but I don't even think, was she even in the documentary? Did you see the Murder Inc. documentary?
I saw it, yeah.
Was she in it?
Yeah, they brought her up in it. But I also didn't Superhead bring Ashanti up in the book too?
See, that I don't remember, but what I do remember about that book is that she said, I remember there was this scene where Irv came in a limo, and she got in, and you know, he had her.
They went to the yacht or something, right?
No, they didn't go to yacht. They drove like to the end of the driveway or some stupid, or like didn't drive that far, and it basically told her to get out. And that's what I remember, and that she was saying that he was little, and that's what I remember about that. But I don't remember her mentioning Ashanti in the book.
I want to say that she mentioned,
but she kind of messy, so she may have.
Yeah, I want to say it was on a set of a video shoot that they all was on, and this is what made me think that it was Ja Rule.
Jay-Z. No, because I know she messed with Jay-Z too.
Yeah, she did.
Was in this video. I don't remember.
She did.
I want to say Big Pimpin'. I want to say it was that video that she's in. Yeah, but she was a messy. She was messy. So
yeah. But yes.
But yeah, thank you for coming up.
Absolutely.
Definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody who came out with me tonight, and for everybody who's going to be catching me on the replay. I appreciate y'all. I've been very good in the videos and saying that too, so that y'all hear y'all shout out. I appreciate everybody, and thank you. I'm going to end up. Yep. I had so much fun tonight. I needed this because I've been so nervous, and it's like been so long since I actually did like a long live like this. So okay, there we go. And yeah, so I appreciate everyone. I love you all. You guys, I do have playlists now, so definitely help me with my replays. Y'all know what I'm trying to do. I'm back on my road to 2K, and I gotta get all my watch hours back up, so that I can be monetized sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, again, thank you all. Gratitude, sending you love. If nobody told you that they love you today, I love you. God loves you, and so do I. It's your girl, Dream Live Shine. Make sure y'all click the like button. Make sure you're subscribed, and tell some of your friends to subscribe. And if you have the ability to share me out, please do. I appreciate the support and love. And on that note, y'all, I love you, and I will see you guys soon. I'm going to give y'all some FaceTime, so, I just didn't make it in time today, but I'm working it out. Oh, man. I needed to laugh. Thank you guys so much. Live your dreams out. Shine in the pride.